how do you write your structure, and how do you present your report. Can you all see the slides? Nampak tak slide saya? Can you all see the slides?
No.
Masih nampak Google lagi.
Oh, Google lagi. Okay, how about now?
Yes.
Okay.
Nampak.
Okay, so topic 2. Okay, so we are going to go through just in general about topic 2 to refresh you about what you have written and what you are going to write in this topic. Okay, so this topic or this section or this chapter is going to explain to you about what you have written in the previous semester, and maybe you can get some ideas to make it better and what to write in this next semester, in this current semester. Okay, so there are certain sections that you need to understand when you do your final report. First, you have to identify the chapters that are involved. How many chapters are you going to write? Some students write it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Introduction, literature review, methodology, result and discussion, and some result and discussion and conclusion in chapter 5. Okay, some students write it, or based on the supervisor, write it as introduction, literature review, methodology, results only, discussion, and or chapter 5 is results, and conclusion and limitation, they push it to chapter 6. Okay, some do it in that way, but however you do it, it is okay. Whether you want to have it as 5 chapters or 6 chapters, it's fine with me, but you have to discuss with your supervisor on how you want to go about this. Okay, and then you also have to identify the subsections. What is subsection? Let's say you start with a section called, let's say we are in chapter 3. Okay, so introduction of chapter 3 is 3.1. The subsection is 3.11. Sorry, 3.1.1. Okay, and then some also go down to the next one, subsection of this as well. Subsection of the subsection. Ada juga macam tu. That means you go down from 3.1.1.1. Okay, belakang tu ada 3. Okay, so this is a subsection of a subsection. Personally, I do not like a subsection of a subsection. So you have a section 3.1 introduction, subsection 3.11 or 3.1.1, second one, and then 3.1.2, but I do not try not to go down to 3.1.1.1, okay, because that complicates everything. All right, next, you can also search previous dissertation from other universities to get an idea how the flow is done. Okay, because you have, when you give this report to a person to read, examiner, this examiner has not been with you. It's not like your supervisor. Like my student does a report, I understand because I have been with her throughout the 2 semesters. So I know what she is doing, I know how is she doing, I know what is she writing because I've read all the reports. Okay, but an examiner has not read your report, has no idea what you are doing, and probably has never seen you before. So you have to write a story in such that when you read, when the examiner reads, he or she knows what you are trying to explain to him or her. Okay, so when you give me a report, I need to visualize, I need to understand what are you trying to say, what are you trying to do, what are you trying to prove, why is this so important, why is it so important for you to come up with a system called XYZ? Why is it so important? Why is it so important to have a mobile application, let's say a mobile application in teaching? Why is it so important? Tak ada ke selama ni mobile application yang lain? Why is it so important to have your particular teaching application? Why is it so important? So you have to understand, you have to give the idea out. So you have to tell the examiner, this is a good idea, and this is how I do it, and this is the product. Okay? So in a sample A, as I explained to you, you have 5 chapters: introduction, literature, methodology, results, and analysis, conclusion, and future works. So here, in chapter 4, is what we are going to cover this semester. And we are also going to cover the abstract, and we are also going to cover the conclusion and future works. Okay, so what is your results and how do you analyze your results? So if you are developing, okay, just give you a brief idea. If you are developing a mobile application or you're developing a system, what is your result? Okay, your result is the system now. Okay, so you are developing a mobile application. So what is the result of your project? So the result of your project is the application itself. So you can show the slides, you can show the screenshots of your mobile application, and how do you analyze that? You do results, you do testing. You ask people to test your system to find out if the system is good, yes or no. You can learn this in software engineering. There are a few types of tests that you are supposed to do in project development. Okay. Next, you go on into the next one, sample B, whereby they divide the they include a new one, called research, design, and implementation. Here they implement. So, you know what? Here in chapter 3, they put the methodology. Here they put the design and implementation. So there are two different things here. What is the difference between research method and research design? Okay, method is how you do things. How do you actually develop your product? Okay, design is what design methods do you use? Are you going to use a survey? Are you going to use a system? Okay, and how do you implement this? How do you implement this? That means you have designed your mobile application already. It's already good. Now, how are you going to, what research design are you using to test this? To test this system if it's a good system. So you are going to do a test. What kind of test you are doing? So that is your research design. What kind of test are you doing? Are you using user acceptance test? Are you doing a scenario-based test? Are you doing a crash course test? Macam-macam. And how do you implement this? Okay, so let's say I'm doing a user testing. So how do I implement the user testing? Mula-mula saya akan pilih user. So these users would be age 18 and above. Kenapa saya pilih 18 and above? Because my system is meant for students in the secondary school. Or saya buat observation. Saya bagi mobile app ni kepada budak-budak tadika, and I sit in one corner and I observe. Saya bagi app ni kat diorang gunalah sendiri, pandai-pandai lah diorang gunakan sendiri, and I observe. And from my observation, I find that they are good or they can use the application easily. I don't have to teach them. So that's how you implement this. And then you report this in your result and you analyze them. Based on my finding, I find that, okay, we found that 10 out of 10 students like this application because of these reasons. Something like that. Okay. Do you have any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. If you have any questions, please stop me along any way, anyhow. Okay. Chapter 1. Present the motivation. Why is it so important for you to come up with this system? Kenapa benda ni sangat penting? Why is it so important? Why? Kalau tak ada sistem ni, dunianya akan kebuluh. Kalau tak ada sistem ni, why? What will happen? The motivation to come up with a vaccine of COVID-19 is if we do not have the vaccine, ramai orang akan meninggal. Ramai orang akan hilang pekerjaan. Ekonomi akan jatuh. So that is the motivation. Okay? The motivation of why you need this particular system. Okay, that is you have to introduce in your chapter 1. Why is it so important to have a mobile application to teach kindergarten kids on learning? Why is it so important? Okay, then provide the context, key terms, concept, so the reader can understand the domain. Context means, okay, in what context are you talking about? You are doing a mobile application, you are doing a system for school kids, adults, or maybe college. So you provide the context, you provide the space. That means we are doing an application for school kids, for college kids, for general. So that is the context. My student previously, he developed a mobile application for beginner fitness. That means people who want to start exercising on a beginner level. So the context is for beginners. He provided the context saying that beginners. So that was his context. That means we are not talking about advanced, we are not talking about intermediate, we are only addressing beginners. Okay. Then he proposed the question, why is it so important? What is the question? Why is it objective? What is the scope? And what is this? Why is it so significant? Okay. So the objective is to develop a mobile application to help people reduce weight and things like that. And the scope was for beginners. Okay. And then in chapter 1, you try to describe the overall structure of your project. That means in overall, this is what you're supposed to do. Okay. Like for me, I like everything in visual format. So I like if my students can draw pictures, can visualize, can show me that this is what they want to do. Some students have problems in writing, so they will draw diagrams and put it inside introduction. So by having this introduction picture, I know, oh, this is what they want to do. This is the mobile application, and this is how it should look like, and this is what they're going. Who is this target audience? Okay. So chapter 1, background, problem, objective. To identify, to investigate, to analyze, to design, develop, construct. So normally for FYPs, computer science is either to design, develop, or to construct. Normally, yeah. What's your scope? Okay. My student scope was beginners. So that is his scope. Why is it important? Okay. And how do you organize this report? Okay, what does 1.8 mean? Report organization. This one, when I read last semester in your report, I did not find it in any of the students. What do you mean by a report organization? Report organization is you are telling the reader, examiner, this is how I wrote this report. Okay? Tengok perkataan yang saya guna is this is how I wrote the report. Benda ni maksudnya I have written this report. It's already passed. So this is how I wrote the report. Okay. Chapter 1 is about introduction. Chapter 2 is about literature review. Chapter 3 is about methodology. 4 is about results, and 5 is about conclusion. So this is how I organize the report. Okay. In chapter 1, I've already explained this. In chapter 2, I'm going to explain this, and so on. So when you give an organization of the report, so the reader will know. Oh, sekarang saya dah baca introduction. Okay. So in chapter 2, I'm going to the reader it's going to explain about the literature, and chapter 3 is going to explain about methodology and so on, so on. So that's how you organize the report. Okay, and you see the word summary here. In each chapter, perlu ada summary. Jangan tulis conclusion. Ramai student tulis conclusion. The word conclusion can only appear dua tempat. Satu, in chapter 5, where you write the title of the chapter is conclusion. And second place is in chapter 5, the last section, conclusion. In each chapter, you must only use the word summary. Summary means the summary of that particular chapter. The summary of chapter 1, the summary of chapter 2, the summary of chapter 3, 4. The conclusion of chapter 5. Kalau ada chapter 6, maksudnya chapter 5 will be summary and chapter 6 will be conclusion. Summary means you summarize that particular chapter sahaja. How do you do that? For example, chapter 1, in summary, okay. So in in this chapter, we have shown that this. We have also highlighted this. Okay, or this chapter has presented the background study and the problem statement of this project. Okay, and then tambah lagi sikit. In the next chapter, okay, the literature review for this project will be highlighted. Okay, setiap summary of each chapter, you perlu summarizekan chapter tersebut, yang pertama. Yang kedua, kena explain next chapter tu pasal apa. Next chapter is about what. So when you start the next chapter, chapter 2, you start balik. The previous chapter has explained about introduction. In this chapter, we will explain about literature review. And then pada akhir chapter 2, iaitu summary of chapter 2, this chapter has explained about the literature review of this project. The next chapter will explain about the methodology. So pada chapter 3 pula, you start by saying, the previous chapter has explained about literature review. The next chapter, or the current chapter, or the current chapter will explain about the methodology. Nampak tu? Okay, that means summarize, you summarize untuk chapter tersebut, and you give an introduction of what is to come. In the introduction of the next chapter, you say, the previous chapter cakap pasal apa, now we cakap pasal apa. Why do we write all this? Sebab we want to keep the examiner or the reader supaya dia tak fokus, dia tak lari. Oh, yeah. So sometimes you write about 10 pages and you forget what you have written at the beginning. What are you writing? What are you reading? So you write all this so that the examiner or the reader understands. Oh, what have I read? Where am I heading to? Okay, where am I heading to? Macam you tengok movie, kalau movie yang drama tu, sebelum masuk siri baru or the new next week tu, there's something here. That means dia cakap what is going to, or dia tunjuk synopsis of the next one. Pada minggu depan, ni akan berlaku. Oh, Muhammad ni akan membunuh dia ni. So you start, oh, next series is good because he's going to kill somebody there. Macam itulah. So it's the same method here. Okay? Are you with me? Faham tak?
Faham sir.
Faham, Doktor.
Okay, so next, chapter 2, literature review. Justify the needs of your project. Is your project worth? Discuss, critically evaluate past and current studies. Provide reader and other researchers with a starting point from which they can understand your project. So you have to, literature review is not merely about what has been done. No, literature review also talking about the terms and not the terms. For example, you are doing macam student saya membuat mobile fitness for beginners. So he has to state the argument ni. Dia kena tunjukkan perjalanan mobile fitness. Satu, dia kata, okay, in losing weight tu, how is it to lose weight? Okay, sebab you have to see, topik dia ialah mobile fitness application for beginners. Senang lah, dia buat satu mobile app untuk exercise for beginners. Quite straightforward. But he has to show the argument in chapter 2, how he reached to this point. Macam mana dia sampai ke dalam idea untuk membuat satu fitness application hanya untuk beginners. So he has to show. Start from exercising. Exercise tu apa sebenarnya? Okay, what is exercise? Oh, exercise ni ialah inilah. Okay, and over time, dulu orang exercise manual lah, tak ada teknologi. Then over time, people pakai teknologi. So that is, he's moving one step lah. Okay, so he is saying that exercise, objective asal exercise ialah untuk lose weight. Okay, then people do so many methods of losing weight, so many types of exercising techniques. But these techniques, some are useful, some are not useful. Sebab orang berbeza-beza. And then the next paragraph dia kata technology pula. People use technology to lose weight sebab technology is much more easier. You don't have to have a personal trainer. You boleh guna this app. Tetapi argument dia ialah this app ni is too general. Kalau dia kata each person needs to lose weight, dia tak boleh pakai app ni. Dia kena pakai app yang lagi simple. So some people punya objektif untuk fit, bukan untuk untuk exercise, bukan untuk jadi fit, untuk lose weight. Some people nak jadi fit. Some people nak exercise je. So he has to bring the argument so that he has to show that each point ni is worthwhile. And then he has to also show ada tak sistem dahulu yang pernah buat macam ni or halfway buat macam ni or dah buat tapi tak sampai objektif. He has to show all that. Okay, so that is literature review. Okay, the content varies according to project. 3-4 main sections should be sufficient. Organized, introduction, intelligent system, expert system. Okay, so they break down macam topik ni dia pasal system lah, so they break down. Okay, highlight your area. What is your area? Mobile technology. Okay, development, prototyping. Okay, mobile development, exercising. This is your model. This is where you are going to explain. Highlight the literature that can support the problem in chapter 1. Why is the problem? Oh, rupanya ada orang pernah cakap application ni tak bagus sebab apa? So provide literatures. Concentrate, concrete your statement and argument with citation. Make sure, okay lah, and not lah. Kalau dia pakai Mendeley, pakailah Mendeley. Okay. Find the latest reference last 3-5 years. Okay. Alamak, gambar tak clear, tak apa. Alright. So this is how we look at chapter 2. Again, about 2.5, the literature. Literature. Okay. So these are the literatures. Okay. So kalau chapter 2, subsection 2.3, techniques in the area. Technique A, B, C, and all these techniques. So in my students' concept lah, dia pakai teknik B. So dia kata untuk buat exercise, kita pakai teknik B dah cukup dah. Tapi dia kena explain lah, A, B, C tu apa. So A mungkin for the advanced people, B mungkin for beginner, C for this one. So between this, he said technique B is proven for beginners. So he has to show lah. Dia tak boleh cakap, saya pilih teknik ni. Tak. No, he has to show why is this technique better than that. For example, let's say you are doing a mobile tracking system untuk track attendance, attendance class. Menggunakan teknik B. Menggunakan teknik ni. Okay, there are so many techniques you can use. Ada yang buat teknik macam ni, ada buat teknik. So why is this particular technique good? So you have to highlight. First, you have to highlight all the techniques available, and next you have to say this particular technique is better than the rest. Be creative and write in different style. Be selective. Remember, it's not a report that you have to write and summarize all the papers and books that you have read. Do not dictate a page or paragraph to each article, merely reporting on their content. Itu pun betul juga. Sebab bila saya baca literature, saya tak nak tahu, oh banyaknya paper budak ni baca, this is very good, inilah satu pelajar-pelajar yang kita cari selama ini. I'm not like that. I want to see that you have read enough, cukup, and the argument is there. The argument is there, that means, oh betul lah, I did not think this way, saya kena fikir macam tu. Oh betul, oh betul lah apa yang dia cakap ni, kita tak ada benda ni, we don't have, and this is a problem. We don't have this. Betul lah, budak-budak kat sekolah rendah ni belajar maths paling susah, and we don't have a proper technique. And this technique has been has not been, tak ada apa. So this is very good. Sampai macam tu. Okay, you have to have that. So these are some example of citations that you all use. The definition by John et al. 1994 emphasizes blah 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 blah. So what are you trying to say is you are trying to quote this paper, okay? But this is also paraphrase. However, you can also in contrast, okay? So what is this citation mean? First, definition ni 94 macam ni. Tetapi in 2005, definition ni sudah berubah. And finally in 2008, a new definition. So this is how you write the sequence, okay? Okay, so you can also do it this way. You can just dump everything down here. So you come up with a new paraphrase in a different way and just write everything down here. Okay, section number 3. Okay. All right, so you can do it this way. So this, okay. Citation number 4, you can also use the table. Okay. So these are the techniques, these are the methods, okay, and these are the authors. Advantage, disadvantage, okay. Okay, some use different kinds of technique. Okay, some use different kinds of diagram. Okay, now go into research methodology to describe the overall process flow of the research, framework of the research, framework structure, to describe the techniques and procedure steps used in the research, steps in developing the algorithm, steps in developing and pre-processing the data set, and how to explain the data, materials, and subject tools. Okay, so you are going to explain how is this project done. Mula-mula saya buat ni, lepas tu saya buat ni, lepas tu saya buat ni. So you have to show the steps. So there are a few technologies, methodologies which have been used. The most popular one is the waterfall model, but now these days there are also other models like rapid application development. My student dulu pakai RAD, rapid application development. What he does was every day dia akan develop the prototype, and he shows me in, let's say, 3-4 days dia tunjuk sekali. I'll ask him to change. 3-4 days tunjuk, dia tak tunggu sampai habis. So he's doing it rapidly. So that is a rapid application development. But you can also use a waterfall model, paling slow lah. So you go from one section to another section. And then there's also a specific, kalau you're doing mobile application, there's also a specific methodology. Saya pun tak ingat nama dia. I can find that out. Okay. So first you come with a theoretical study, okay, empirical study, system design and development. So paling senang is the development lah. So how you are going to do the testing, what software and hardware requirement, and then section 3.4, the database design. So where you are going to, you have to tell the user, okay, database untuk sistem ni will be here, and saya akan guna security macam mana, and how is the database going to talk to this server, things like that, and how am I going to collect the data. 3.3. Mula-mula saya nak buat survey kan, macam mana saya nak collect data ni, saya nak tahu sistem ni, if I use the system, if I develop the system, is it going to be useful? Okay, so these are the steps I take. And the preliminary study, or if there is lah, mula-mula saya baca ni, lepas tu saya buat interview, lepas tu saya cari gap. So these are, because we want to know, how did you come up with the system? Macam mana you dapat idea untuk membuat produk ini? Mula-mula saya baca, lepas lama-lama saya baca, saya dapat idea. Lepas idea tu, nampak macam boleh tahan idea saya. Lepas tu, I went to do a survey. Saya tanya orang, betul tak macam ni? Saya tanya dalam 100 orang, orang kata semua betul. Rupanya what I thought and what people thought are the same. Next, I draw the design. Okay, server saya kat sini, kat Melaka, saya nak connect dengan server saya di Sanjaya, and I'm using this interface. Saya akan gunakan sistem Microsoft. I can do this, and then okay. And then 3.5 is flow. Data daripada Melaka pass kepada Penang. Data apa? Data tu akan pass dalam bentuk karakter, text, and so on. Okay, lepas tu saya buat testing. Okay, saya buat testing selama 1 jam, selama 2 jam, selama over the weekend, menggunakan 100 orang. 100 orang ni semua yang tera-tera IT, yang pandai-pandai, 18 and above. And then I evaluate, saya duduk situ, saya tengok sistem saya macam mana, saya bagi markah. Okay, and then what the software requirement? Okay, untuk use this software or and to develop, we need this part. Oh, saya nak buat multimedia, or saya nak buat ni, I need this kind of hardware, this kind of software. So that is how you highlight in chapter 3. Okay, provide details, enough details for replication, meaning if there is somebody else yang nak buat methodology, sistem yang sama or area yang sama, then they can just use your methodology. Okay, let's say another student dia nak buat project mobile apps, so he just goes to your report, dia ambil je section chapter 3, dia terus boleh buat sahaja. Okay, this one we will discuss it in the next class and also the next one. So these are the so finally you list down all the reference. Bila saya baca report, when I read the report of my students, first I will always look at the introduction, and then I will look at your reference. And then secara randomnya saya akan pilih satu reference, saya akan tengok reference ni ada dekat bahagian mana. Sebab kebanyakan student they will leave out the reference. Kadang-kadang dalam chapter 3 or chapter 2, they will say ada satu nama keluar kat situ, tapi nama tu memang tak dekat belakang. Oh, nama tu ada dekat belakang, tapi memang tak dekat depan. So there was cite, saya pun tak tahu mana design. So saya akan buat rendering. And then bila saya baca mobile application, saya ada, dalam kepala saya ada beberapa journal atau artikel yang you wajib ada. Kena ada. Okay, kebanyakan student kalau buat mobile application, kena ada ni. So dia macam guru lah. The guru on mobile application. So kena ada tu. So I will look for it. Oh, tak ada. Kenapa dia tak ada? Dia tak baca tu. Oh, ni dia memang tak baca. So that is a problem lah. So kalau you tak baca particular journal, so that is a problem lah. Okay, so I will do that. Saya akan baca depan, belakang dulu. I'll read the introduction to get an idea of what you are trying to do, and then I'll look at the reference. Okay, I'll check back introduction, and then I'll move on to the literature review. Halfway, I can stop. Saya akan terus jump pada result. Methodology is more or less my last place where I read. Okay, so that's what I do lah. I normally do. Appendix, kalau you ada appendix, kalau ada soalan survey ke apa ke, so you can put it inside your appendix. Okay, so that is a little bit of your overall report that you can that you use, that you are going to develop, that you are going to come out in this particular chapter. Okay, in this particular semester. So writing a report again is a technique. Okay, so you have to write it well supaya orang yang baca, saya, your supervisor, needs to understand what you are going to do. What have you done? Okay, last semester, what you are going to do. Apa yang you akan buat. This semester, apa yang you dah buat. So ada dua konsep kat sini untuk this semester. Satu, kita nak tengok produk tu. Want to see the product. Another one is we want to find out what have you done to reach, to sampai takat mana yang you dah sampai. Okay, so that is another issue as well. Alright, do you have any questions before we end the class for today?
No, doctor.
No? Zati, are you okay?
Okay, doctor.
Adila, are you okay? Iza, are you okay? Zaki, Amir, Wan Nurul, Adlina, Husna.
Okay, doctor.
So far okay,
Okay,
doctor.
doctor.
Okay, doctor.
Okay.
So far, okay. How far are you? How far? So far. You do not tahu so far ke apa? Okay, alright. Sekejap, I want to show you something. Sekejap, just give me 1 minute. 1 minute and look for the report. Minute. Okay, can you see this report, smart home?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is a project done about 2 semesters ago, FYP project. So by ni lah my student. So project dia ialah buat smart home. So basically he uses an IoT device connected to the mobile application and he controls lah. So inilah kalau I can focus a bit more. So
Model.
he bought a model from Mr. DIY. Yeah, he bought a model and then he designed a IoT system macam ni. Okay, so he designed an IoT system macam ni. Alright, he designed it and he tested it lah on this, and last kali dia buat testing lah. Okay, buat testing semua. Okay, so dia buat user interface testing, dia buat usability testing, overall satisfaction macam tu lah. Okay, so what I'm trying to show you here is when you look at this, you will understand. First, the paper presents a standalone low-cost smart home, which is based on this one, using this one. And then kenapa benda ni penting, it's all here, and what this is all about. Okay, so in the introduction, as you can see, first he comes up with sebenarnya saya yang tulis ni, saya dengan dia tulis lah. Okay, first we come up with explanation. What is the smart home about? Kita kena explain tu, because people don't understand. Why is it so important? Okay, smart home ni ialah ini. Okay, and then why is it so important? Why? So dia comfortable, dia senang, this and that. Okay, this is the gap. However, the integration of new technological appliances in recent years have changed. This is because the number of controllable appliances in the smart home have risen. Okay, we say that smart home ni memang ada, smart home ni ada. Tetapi konsep dia, appliance di rumah sudah bertambah. So we need a better one to integrate everything. So the smart home ni dah ada, and it's already available in the market, but apa yang kita propose ialah appliance di rumah sudah bertambah, so our system yang budak ni dah buat will address those appliances yang baru ni. Maksud dia ialah we are trying to say basikal tu dah ada, cuma basikal tu tak cukup laju. Macam tu je. We are trying to say that the car is there already. The car is moving fine, but now we need a better car. We need a faster car. That's what we're trying to say. Okay, so now technology is there, okay, is there already, but what we want to do it better. Okay, ada juga student saya yang membuat mobile app untuk baca Quran. My argument dengan dia adalah, saya kata kenapa nak buat mobile app baca Quran, bukannya dah ada banyak. Dia kata ada, betul, memang dah ada, tapi dia tak cater untuk student OKU. Baru saya terfikir, betul juga, mobile app untuk baca Quran untuk orang-orang biasa, untuk orang-orang macam you dengan saya. Tetapi untuk orang OKU, untuk orang-orang yang slow learners, berbeza sungguh. So mobile app untuk itu berbeza. Is different from a normal mobile app. So that is what you need to highlight. It's not more about the technology, it's not more about the product. Product tu memang I assume semua orang boleh buat. But why is it so important? Kenapa we nak buat satu mobile application untuk orang-orang OKU? So you have to highlight lah, mobile app tu memang ada, benda ni memang ada, tetapi tak sesuai untuk ni. Or maybe dia kata, ada banyak memang ada mobile app untuk baca Quran banyak, tetapi saya menggunakan teknik apa tu? Yang ketuk-ketuk panggil apa? Baghdadi. Saya pakai teknik Baghdadi sebab in a particular research somewhere else, teknik Baghdadi Baghdadi ni terbukti untuk membantu student yang lemah. Macam tu. So what he does is dia pakai teknologi dengan pengajaran yang lama, dia gabungkan, and he comes up with a mobile app. Pun boleh, tak masalah. Because the Quran mobile app tu memang dah ada. Semua orang dah ada. I mean it's easily available. Tetapi dengan menggunakan teknik baru ni tak ada. So you gabungkan dua-dua. So in this application, he is saying smart home is there already. Idea ni dah lama keluar. Tetapi dia kata appliance rumah sudah bertambah, so we don't have a proper one, a cheaper one. And teknologi sudah bertambah. Dulu ada Wi-Fi, sekarang dah ada Bluetooth. So dia ada macam-macam lagi benda. So dia tambahlah benda-benda. So he proposes a system, a cheaper system. Okay. Okay. Over the years, the growth in technology, new types of smartphone have been proposed. However, each type of smartphone concept have their limitation, in terms of coverage and high equipment costs. Ni problem dia satu lagi, dia kata benda tu dah ada tapi ada limitation disebabkan oleh dia punya coverage. Mungkin smartphone yang diguna coverage dia cuma dalam 1 km. Tapi dia punya yang dia bakal propose ni it's more than that. Okay, so this is how you can write your report. So kalau this is a final year report lah, saya ambil, saya gabungkan balik, saya pecah-pecahkan balik and I write a report. Saya akan tulis ni lah. So if I find some of your, ada di antara pelajar-pelajar yang good FYP, saya biasanya akan ambil, saya akan cuba hantar ke any journal lah. Okay, ini additional je lah. Okay, alright, you have any questions before we end our class again? Ada soalan? Maisara?
Tak ada, sir.
Tak ada? Luqman, okay?
Okay, sir.
Zarfan.
Yes,
Are you okay?
yes, okay.
Are you sleepy?
No.
No, okay. All right, just checking on you. Okay, thank you very much. Inshallah, I'll see you in the next class. All right, so tomorrow class, you Nambi, yes? This is 6B, tomorrow
Nambi.
is 6A. Okay.
6A.
All right, thank you so much. Inshallah, I'll see you next week. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, sir.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Doktor.
Thank you, Doktor.